So this is a comment too that I didn't see to another video I just posted to another. These are both comments from my YouTube channel. My point, by the way, is that you were correct to observe that Trump surrounds himself with losers. The problem is that he enables them to cut the nation's collective throat at some point. Okay, so a couple things. Yeah, I use the term losers. Because that's how I see many of these people, but I think Trump gives them a chance. Gives them a chance. I think he figures, but here's the thing. I don't believe in this collective shit. I'm sick of seeing this word, okay? United is not the same as collective. Collective is we're in groupthink. We all think the same thing. We all believe the same thing. America is not about being a collective. We're about being united in individualism. I do not believe he enables them to cut the nation's throat at some point. We hold responsibility in that. Like, that's the thing. We never, and I've said this before because I do get upset. I get upset with the game that gets played. But then, I can't imagine what it's like to be in his shoes. I don't think anybody really can, because I don't think anybody could have. I don't even know how he handled it. And he's been asked about it, how he handled being attacked, defamed, verbally assaulted 24/7 while he was in office. It was ridiculous. The media divided people. The media are the people that cut the nation's throat. Trump was not doing that. Trump was doing what he thought was best. And he was basing it off of where is the country at. So I think we want to put all this responsibility on leaders, okay? And to some degree that's, fair enough. But then we also want to let ourselves off the hook because we hold a responsibility too. I personally, some people say that Trump is a wrecking ball, but that's what was needed. And he really wasn't. The media made it into it being like a wrecking ball because of their continual hate. And to this day, they have mind controlled people to hate Trump. And yet you try to corner them. Well, what do you hate? Don't give me anything about what the media told you. What is it that you hate about him? Everything he did, even up to the when the locker room tape came out, or when he said, I'm so rich I could get off this bus and go grab, we know what he said about grabbing somebody. It was back when he was young, okay? An Inside Edition tape. He didn't do it. But I don't think people understand what he was trying to say to that guy. Because really it applies to right now. Look at Hollywood. Because they're wealthy, they can do whatever they want. Did he get off the bus? And no, he didn't. And even though you get all your leftists still to this day that want to say he's a convicted rapist. No, he's not. He would be in jail. E. Jean Carroll even said on CNN, on national TV, she said, you could still find it, where she said, well, it wasn't a physical thing. It was more just a power trip. And yet the media is still running with, and that was a civil case. She came out of the woodwork. And that even worked because, in regards to victims, because that 1 year window, because of E. Jean Carroll and the governor of New York, they changed the laws all because of their hate for Trump. And this E. Jean Carroll, who was so full of shit from the beginning, okay, Trump didn't know who she was. She comes out of the woodwork just like the one that went after Justice Kavanaugh, okay? They come out of the woodwork 30 years later, okay? Always from the far left feminist group. And make up a bunch of shit that they never told anybody before. And E. Jean Carroll's was, that was the worst. And so, and all of it showed how corrupt the court system is. But it also showed the level of what the governor, who was Governor Hochul, right? Yeah, Kathy Hochul, Her and E. Jean Carroll had the laws changed for 1 year so that people could go after abusers that was past that window time. Because it was 30 years ago and it was shit she just made up. But that's how desperate they were. But that 1 year, this is how ironic the way God makes it work. Because that 1 year window allowed a bunch of victims of Diddy's and others to come forward and go after their abusers. And then, of course, the window was only open for 1 year. Because who do the politicians protect? The rapists. Trump was not a rapist. But my point is that it's the media really that cut the nation's throat. But I think Trump is, people say that he's like a human grenade. And I don't think that he wants to be that way. But it's because of how the media portrays him. However, in many ways you need that to get rid of the swamp. You need it because we can't, if he had not come in when he did, no matter how much you hate him, or no matter how much anybody hates him, you do not understand we were still not fully, I don't think it's been determined yet how bad it could be because of what all these people were involved in. Because many of them, like they go into these high positions and then it's just like what Epstein was doing to people, this getting people in compromising positions and then blackmailing them, threatening their family. So then they go along with stuff that hurts the country. So because they don't want their blackmail tape to get out, or because they don't want their family to get hurt. And so in order to shake that tree loose from its filth, you need a wrecking ball. So in many ways, even though I see Trump, if you want to call him a wrecking ball, I see him as a positive one, because there's no way you can take down that embedded deep state that's full of intelligence agents and just all sorts of filth. Because, Epstein was intelligence in America and in Israel, and was with Mossad, or at least connections to Mossad. But I believe he was an intelligent agent for both, which is why he was so protected. So he came off the street when Trump went into office. So even though people want to hate Trump, first of all, you've been gaslit too, and you don't want to snap out of it. But regardless, it was going to come to the nation, and you cannot tell people. They have to experience it. Otherwise, you won't believe. Nobody would have believed Trump. Trump could have came into office. He said from the get-go, he said these people don't have your best interest at heart. You're never going to get the left to see that. Even to this day, many people on the left, the few that are left there, don't want to see it. They hate Trump and they're ridiculous. It's like they're just in a delusion. But the fact is, there would be nobody, even if it wasn't Trump, that wouldn't go in and it'd be the same way, because to cut the head of that snake off, it's going to cause a bunch of chaos, and that's what is needed to get out of it. But I also don't believe in this just being united for united's sake. I see that happening, and it's like, I don't like that kind of stuff. Because I believe in the Bible, though. That's the reason I say, because God says don't be, yoked unequally. Don't be yoked with people. It's not good to just be united for united's sake, or be a collective, because then everybody can live under the lie in peace, because we're a collective. That's what we were living under, and it didn't help us. It's taken us more into misery. It took us into that COVID communism. So even though I understand what you're trying to say, I'm the one that said losers. I think in Trump's eyes, he gives these people a chance. He seems to give everybody a chance, but they end up failing. So then it's on to the next ones.